Hello everyone, Soul017 here. Let me just like usual with on this picture and update video. Alright, okay, so here's the thing. I read the chapters that I wanted. It was just, how can I say this? It's just when I was trying to record, I had a lot of interruptions to the point where I was like, okay, I already have the idea, so I'm just gonna make it tomorrow when I have time, and I don't want to basically seem like I'm not making any what ifs, so I just decided to make this one early, but I had planned. So yeah. But anyways, this is before I forget, this is a non-paid video, and I do not own this picture. I do not own this picture. I mean. Okay, since I got that out of the way, so this is what Deku can use the Force, with a little bit of a twist, sort of thing. Okay, you know how it is. There's usually we give it the Star Wars and My Hero Academia are in separate universes or dimensions, I guess. From tech stories, it usually makes sense to put them in the same world. So, yeah, I'm just making it. I was gonna make it separate worlds, separate dimensions, and Izuku just open his way into the Star Wars universe and just walk right through, where it is. He legit just uses the Force and just breaks reality. Breaks the pathway of the dimensions that should never be broken and just goes through it, and he's in the Star Wars universe. But I thought of something even better, making it where it would be kind of the simple thing, but the more challenging is making it where it's just another freaking galaxy, but but it's so far away from that empire, from the Sith, the Jedis, everything. It's no one would ever want to go to there because it is so, well, to them with their technology, pathetic. I mean, to be honest, they have blasters, they have interdimensional star traveling ships. They basically have hyperspace, hyperdrive. Basically, go faster in space, basically. I know someone's gonna leave in the comment on what is, and I don't. If you're a Star Wars fan, so am I. But even I can forget, and I forget a lot of stuff sometimes to do with Star Wars. But I can remember a lot. I've watched the movies, I played the games, and I never read the books. But there's a lot of different lore. I know I even watched or read some of the comics of Darth Vader and stuff. So, yeah. But anyways, there's a twist in it that I will show you, or should I say tell you, in the next 12 to 5 seconds, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, let's go on to this. So, where we start off is after Izuku Midoriya found out he is quirkless. But the doctor's looking over the papers. Well, he sees Izuku and Inko being upset. Basically, he's thinking to himself, and yes, it's Dr. Ojiko, but it's this is he's not working off one yet. I'm making it. So he's interesting. This boy's, DNA. Basically, the machine kept picking up some type of energy within him, but his DNA says he should be quirkless. Excuse me. He's just thinking, It may be a hidden quirk or a dormant one. That's the reason why. Maybe alter his DNA, or it's just a quirk without the gene. You know, the quirk gene in him. I'll have to find out later on in life. So, he does closes the, folder, and he looks at Izuku. He goes, Child. I mean, not child, Izuku Midoriya. Look, there's a lot of things in this world that sucks, kid. And sometimes quirks don't really matter. But he goes, but I want to be a hero like All Might, he says, and, through his sad and sniffling, and basically trying not to sound like he's broken at a young age. He goes, no one can be like All Might. Not even the number 2 hero. Everyone has their own ways of doing things, kid. If you want to be a hero, then you just gotta work hard for it. You gotta become something you. So, don't let this get you down. If you have the courage and determination to do it, to become a hero, to become the very first quirkless hero, then try it and see what happens. Alright? And he does nod, which Inko smiled at this, and Dr. Ojiko is a good doctor in this one, but for situations, become the doctor of all for one. He cannot help it. He has a reason. But anyways, so we go to the next day after Zuko. He goes to his preschool basically. Everyone's talking about their quirks, and they get to Zuko and they find out that he's quirkless. And everything will go to canon, like Izuku saving the kid. And that's where the story will really pick up. So, while Izuku's fending off Bakugo and his goons, the boy runs away, leaving Izuku to get beat into a bloody pulp, and, well, quite simply, being, hurt more than being hurt, basically. I was not gonna say more, but I think he's just a kid, so I really can't go that far. But because of Izuku's emotions, becoming angry for the very first time as a kid, he's saying, "Stop it." And Bakugo's like, "What's that, Deku? Why you say speak up?" And he goes, "I said, stop it!" And all of a sudden, he just force pushes them off of him. They go against him flying. Bakugo is knocked out. He basically hit a wall. The other two, well, they basically were the lucky ones. They just hit trash. Bakugo wasn't. Well, I mean, technically the wall was. Yeah, but he just really just hit a wall. They just see Bakugo and, down. They just pick him up and run away. They take him back home. And Izuku's. Because what they saw from Izuku, they saw his eyes glowing with hatred as they ran. And all of a sudden, well, Izuku's looking at his hands and he goes like, what did I do? What was that? And then he hears a voice says, "That was the Force, young one." And he turns around, he sees someone that he can see right through them. They're, well, glowing, basically blue, and he has something over his face, a robe it seems like. And he goes like, who are you? He goes, "My name is Qui-Gon Jinn." I think I got that right. Let me just double check. Yes, I did. He goes, after that, he goes like, Qui-Gon Jinn? He goes, "It's not Japanese, I know. Do not worry about that for now. What I am about to tell you is, well, pretty remarkable from someone out so far from the Empire's Jedi's and anyone, to be frank, eyes. that is force sensitive. Which Izuku was like, force sensitive? And he goes, allow me to explain. So he explains about the force. It is within everyone. But only select few people in the known galaxy, or universes, basically. You know, universe, galaxies. Eh. Yeah, just galaxies. Can be able to use them. Use the force, basically. Which Izuku's like, so I'm a Jedi? He goes, no, not yet. You need a master to train you, or to be trained in the force. And this is after the whole entire thing. So this is like, I forgot to say, this is like after the whole entire Anakin kills Palpatine, him dying and everything. So he was like, you could be either Jedi or Sith. But there are a few things that can happen. That you could be both. Which he was like, what do you mean? He was like, well, I'm here to train you, first of all. And, well, I'm here to guide you in the ways of the Force. Which was like, so wait, does that mean I can be a hero? I mean, like he's saying that question in tone. It was like, explain, what is a hero? So, Izuku explains about quirks the best he can, heroes and villains. He was like, well, technically, if we start your training and, well, you're highly skilled in the Force, you have too much power in it, you basically could take on this whole entire planet. Or Japan. I've only been here for about a week. Looking for you. Which was like, wait, I could take on Japan or the world? It was, like I said, depending. And also it mattered about which route you take in your training, which I am a Jedi Master, but I'm way more open than my other predecessors. Which he was like, okay, whatever that means. So, as Qui-Gon explained what Izuku just did, he used the Force without knowing or unintentionally went into the dark side. Basically, the dark side of the Force is emotion. Basically, fueled by hate, anger, and rage, which he just did. And it is fair because he is a child. So, Izuku was like thinking, did I do something bad then? He would say that out loud instead. And he goes, no. What I saw was someone picking on you. You were just defending yourself. Even though, well, you did force push the blonde hair, red eyes boy into a wall. I assure you, his life is not threatened, but he would not believe what's happened. So, come on. We need to go back to your home. So, Izuku and Qui-Gon, well, no one can see Qui-Gon besides Izuku, go to his home. And, well, I'm not saying Inko's dead. I do want to have where Hasashi needed her. This was like the plan in the story, so Izuku can focus more on his training without worry. So basically, in this one, Hasashi needed Inko, and Mitsuki's gonna be watching over him every so often, coming over and checking to see if he's alright. And they basically, everyone in the apartment building, sees Izuku as their own kid. So they would all take care of him. That's why Inko did not bring him in this one. So when Izuku gets home, he knows his mom, the door was locked and there was a note on it for him saying, Izuku, sweetie, I had to go to America. Your dad needed me. Something happened to him. seems like he's in a coma, and I have to go there basically, which we're gonna have. Well, like let me just tell you what happened to Hisashi. Hisashi is in a coma, like a one that he never may wake up from because. Hisashi, number one hero of America. Yes. I want to at least give Hisashi a good reason why he's in America. Instead of, oh, he just left, or he just abandoned them, or, at least he has a reason. And you're probably thinking that why did Izuku not get his fire-breathing quirk? We all will find out. We will find out. Well, actually, you'll find out. I don't know why I said we. I just started saying it. Anyways, so Hisashi though was in a battle, and he basically went into a building using his quirk, and he was trying to get civilians out of there, including the villains, and the building was collapsing on him. The villain was basically the leader, the number one villain of America, was like, I'm gonna die. And then he just sees Hisashi, throws him out of there, out of the building, and the rest of the building collapsed. So the villains and the people tried to rescue Hisashi. They got him to the hospital, and they only found he's in a coma. So, Stars and Stripes becomes a new number one hero. But these villains, they're, how can I say this? Crime in America has went down a lot. To the point where it's like, you can walk through the streets of, let's just say, New York City, if this is, that's where you all, are in My Hero Academia, because they have Japan and everything. So yeah. Anyways, and you won't get robbed. You just literally just walk in the street and just not get robbed. Alleyways, on the other hand, yeah. So crime rate's down a lot, and which surprised the Hero Commission in America and anywhere else. Number one villain owes his life to Hisashi. So they called up Inko. Inko went to America, and she has to pay for the hospital bill. But the number one villain gave her a fucking job. And I mean a good job. One that is basically, she can send money to Izuku for a year, 2 years worth of yen to Izuku. And that means spending money, food, rent, clothing. He didn't even buy video games or TV sets, a new computer. Because this number one villain has morals, which is kind of the most dangerous thing if you think about it. Villain with morals, depending on what it is, could be dangerous. So, yeah, he just, it was in this. Basically, that's what she's gonna find out. She's gonna find out what happened, the number one villain, which no one really knows besides Hisashi, his face, and the people who were there, and his men. But he gives her a job, and he is he has many companies. So he gives her a position in his company, and then, she'll climb up the ladder. And it's one of his legitimate companies. Not the ones that have, anything sketchy behind the scenes. No, it's, one of his legitimate companies. That will pay her probably 1.5 grand a month company. Or, I don't know, if you own a company or something, you can basically have someone, run one of them, and then, boom. It's just, they get that money that much. I don't know. I don't go into business. So anyways. Izuku sees the note, And he goes, oh, huh. She doesn't say when she's gonna be back, so. Mm-hmm. So basically, Zuko, opens up the door, and then he goes inside. Qui-Gon sees the area. He goes, cozy. He goes, thanks, Mr. Qui-Gon. He goes, that's alright. Oh, I never told you my name. Izuku Midoriya. He goes, alright then, Izuku. He goes, in Japan, its last name, he goes, I'm used to saying the first name. It's like, okay, that's fine. So, Izuku, sits down on the couch and he goes, so, where are we going to, this train and B? He goes, well, first off, we are going to meditate. He goes, okay. So, Qui-Gon explains what this meditation does. It allows him to be one with the Force, to connect to it. And it may even give him some premonitions or... Well, he basically realizes he's just a kid, so he clearly can't talk, he has to be more subtle. He was like, he may see things that may come to be in the future, or will happen or not, and maybe even somewhere else in the galaxy. And, well, basically something may be happening somewhere else, basically on Earth. Or he'll just see or feel a great pressure, basically. And just, okay. So, he tells him to calm his mind, to let everything go, do not think, do not make a sound, and slowly calm your breathing to a state of nothingness. As basically Izuku followed Qui-Gon's teaching. And Izuku then starts to feel the Force. And it's vast and great. And there's a darkness to it, but a light. And he goes, Qui-Gon, he goes, yes, Izuku? There's something scary on somewhere, and a light that's bright. He goes, the dark side and the light side of the Force. He goes like, do not be afraid. They are both sides of the Force. The difference is how you use it, Izuku. It's like, yes. And he goes, now, say basically. Goes, that's enough now. Which he goes, huh? I was gonna have him say master, but that'd be just like, what? Why? He was like, so basically, here's how that will happen. Anyways, he goes, which Izuku was like, wait, why? He was like, well, since now you have a feel of the Force, which is impressive, it would take a while, normally. You, will be starting my training with me. I was here to, train you, but since I'm already starting teaching you, you would call me Master. That's the normal way with the Jedi. But I will allow you to call me whatever. You can call me by Qui-Gon, Master, or just anything. Whatever you heart's desire, Izuku. He goes, thank you, Sensei. He goes, that works. Which Izuku was like thinking, I mean, Master's it's just weird. I heard it from, I guess, someone was reading it out loud and my mom said that was weird. He's just thinking, so. Out of that, Qui-Gon teaches Izuku. Legit. He teaches him the, Jedi techniques. But he also allows Izuku to learn the dark side of the Force, the Sith. And through this, because he became a Force spirit, he's allowed to, you know, he's allowed to show Izuku through the Force, experience he has, basically, to him. And, well, surprisingly, Izuku's fascinated by the Force, the Sith, the Jedi, but this goes on, and basically, yeah, Bakugo did try to call out Izuku, and Izuku's, not matter of speech changed, but his aura around him changed. He wasn't cocky, nor was he gloating. Nor did he even admit he was stronger than Bakugo. He just says, I don't know. Maybe it was just someone who used their quirk on you. Bakugo. Which Izuku was walking away and he was like, what happened to Kachan? And yes, in this one Izuku just doesn't consider Bakugo a friend. He goes, why should I be friends with a bully? It really isn't logical, in a way. To try so hard to get you to be my friend, and yet you'll push me around. I don't see the point anymore. After what my sensei taught me. And this was Izuku didn't realize, basically, it was over the weekend, which I forgot to mention it was a Friday, so basically, their school would have gone, they would have gone to school on Saturday, but they had vacation, so it was just Saturday and Sunday, and, Qui-Gon told him to forgive him, but don't befriend him. See if he'll change, and then try to work on your relationship again. Which, he goes, but I really want to be his friend. He was like, I know, Izuku, but you have to understand. Not everyone can be your friend. And the way he was picking on you, I have a feeling he'll become more arrogant. It's better off if, well, for right now, that is, you just end it before it even happens. And Izuku then says, well, my sensei told me this. You were bullying me. Just because I want to protect somebody and be a hero. And yet, we were best friends at first. And then this happened. Because I have no quirk. He goes, yeah, because you are a Deku. He goes, that means useless, right? He goes, yeah. He goes, and yet, how am I useless if if I can be smarter, stronger? I can probably do things, but I can't do things better than someone with a quirk. That doesn't happen. Everything will be in due time, due to hard work and training. And if you're gonna just bully me all my life, because I don't have a power, because I wasn't born with it. Not a power. I don't have a quirk because I wasn't born with it. It's 20% of the population who don't have it, and yet you basically will bully a quirkless kid. You're supposed to be a hero. You want to be a hero. Then why do you want to bully me so badly? And Izuku was saying this with tears, about to roll down from his eyes. And Bakugo was just realizing it. I'm just sorry, but until you become better or change, as he's turning around, it was like, I will never call you that nickname I gave you. I won't even consider you a friend anymore. You're just someone I will just be bullied by and talk to, just to tell him to stop and leave me alone already. You're just wasting your time. Goodbye, Bakugo Katsuki. Izuku does walk away, And Qui-Gon has helped him rehearse this. So when Izuku leaves, this is actually in front of, like, this is actually in the class. Kids are saying, "Oh, don't worry about him. He's just a quirkless kid." Basically, teachers are feeling bad, and Qui-Gon was there since no one can see him but Izuku. He goes, "It had to be done, Izuku." He goes, "I know, Sensei, but it still hurts." He goes, "You're allowed to have friends. I just don't want you to have friends that hurt you. But for now, we will focus on many things. Your training, then your school life, helping you to become stronger in intelligence. Basically, then your training will be mostly because we don't have any lightsabers. We will do more with physical training." And he goes, "Yes, Sensei." So, after that day, Izuku trains. He basically increases his intelligence. He learns in the Force. He basically works on his hand-to-hand combat. Well, Qui-Gon had to. Well, actually, had Izuku find anything he can learn, basically. And he's still a quirk nerd, so he doesn't deny him or tell him he can't do that. But the thing is, with the Force, with his, he does have like a kendo stick and starts training, and in the ways of the Jedi, and then during one of these training sessions, all of a sudden Izuku was like, "How is that master?" He falls to the ground, which Qui-Gon's like, "Izuku!" He runs over. He basically his hand doesn't go phase right through him, so he's shaking him, trying to shake him awake. As he goes, Izuku's going, "What the?" As he's seeing a battlefield with a red lightsaber in his hand. As one man goes like, "What? You monster! What are you?" And then the person doesn't say nothing. And Izuku sees, basically, aka Izuku, as he just sees this arm moving, and then force lightning comes out of him at fingertips, and just starts killing the person. And after that, though, Izuku then sees the person. I'm gonna search up a Sith Lord real quick, because I did not have a list, and I think it would just be better if I just search like a really powerful Sith Lord. And it's like maybe one of the first. So hold on. Okay, so basically, while Izuku was certainly watching these events, he then learns the name. He was Dark Revenant. And he was like, "What the? Wasn't that one of the Sith Lords?" And basically, this is like when he's 8 or 9, so still a kid. As in, he basically then, the person, Dark Revenant looks at Izuku, and he goes, "I was wondering when you will arrive." Which Izuku's like, you were waiting for me? But how are you?" He goes, "The Force. It seems you have a unique ability to look into the past. Anyone who had the ability to use the Force, it seems like." It just like, "What?" He goes, "This will be quite useful for you. On the path you choose, though. It was a path?" He goes, "Yes. I do know a little bit about Dark Revenant. I know he was a Sith Lord, then... first he was a Jedi, then he became a Sith, and then he lost his memories, and he basically could have chose to go back into a Jedi or a Sith. So, let's just say that. He says, "I was once a Jedi, but due to circumstances, I became a Sith. And then I became back into a Jedi. You'll see my memories, events that have happened to me already. And you will learn the ways that I was taught by the Sith." He's like, "Okay." So, Izuku sees Dark Revenant's past. He sees what happened to him and everything, and he's shocked. And so, by him learning his fighting style and techniques, and his basically even learning dual wield early, he's even can use Force Lightning now. And a different, he tells him though, the power you have comes from here, but is always tempered by, based on that he points to his head. He's pointing to his heart, then to his head, which Izuku nods. He goes, thank you for the lessons you taught me. He goes, also, Force Lightning can be used in many ways. Don't just think of it as basically just shooting out like a blaster. He goes, right. So after that, Izuku wakes up. He's been asleep. Well, he's like out for about 3 hours, which Qui-Gon's like, oh, Izuku, thank God. It's been 3 hours. And he goes like, wow, it seemed like a lot longer than that. He goes, what do you mean? He was like, you would never believe this. And then Izuku tells him what he learned and saw and who he met, which then Qui-Gon goes, huh. Some people, the Force, with a Force sensitivity person, or just a Jedi or Sith, usually will have unique abilities that only they have. So I guess yours is, you have an infinite, potential to learn anything from a past Jedi, from a Sith. So, and then he, basically he was sitting down and, Izuku was, basically sitting on the floor as he goes, alright, now, get up. Show me what you learned from Dark Revenant. And Izuku nods. So, he starts showing him the fighting style he learned. Even that he can use Force Lightning. Even lifting something up and crushing it, which he just did to a rock. And, and then everything else you can think of. Just, he's impressed. He goes, seems like your abilities with the Force even increases when, you do this. This will not be another part of your training. He goes, right, Sensei. So, and, this goes on. He learns from many, many, many different Jedis and Siths. And Qui-Gon would then tell him, you will meet my master soon. Your master? He goes, yes. His name is Yoda. Do not let his size fool you. He's a very strong Jedi. Which he goes, yes, Sensei. So, when a Yoda appears, and he goes, I'm not gonna do a Yoda impression, because I think some people may hate it, or... Okay, leave in the comments if I should do it in the next video, if I make it part 2. Alright? So basically, Yoda, appears, and he goes, Qui-Gon. He goes, Master Yoda. He goes, is this the boy? He goes, yes. Which Izuku never asked him. Why him? Why did he come? Why did he know? No, how did he know? And then then Yoda answers that. He goes like, it seems the Force made the right choice to send you. He goes, huh? Which Qui-Gon does say, the Force. It will lead us to places where we need to go. And yet, even though I am a spirit within the Force, I had a strange feeling to come to this part of the galaxy to, I guess, found you all those years ago. He's like, so, Yoda, looks at Zuko. He goes, he's been trained well, basically. And Zuko says, thank you, Master Yoda. He goes, respectful. He goes, yes. Anyways, do you think he's ready? Which he goes, yes. He says yes. He's ready for a lightsaber. He goes, really? I'm gonna be. Wait, am I really ready? Which Qui-Gon and Yoda look at each other and at him. He goes, and they both say, yes, you are ready. And he goes, okay. Which then, I think Yoda will be like this. He goes, also, I felt some disturbance in the Force. Which Qui-Gon goes like, oh, that must have been Nezuko. Which he goes like, wait, what do you mean? As they tell him about his unique ability within the Force. Which Yoda is quite surprised. And he does ask, have you trained him to not rely on it? And he goes, no, I did not do that. I had him use this ability to help him with his training more, to gain experience, to basically learn the ways of both Jedi and Sith. It was way more easier then because of this. Which Yoda's eyes widen. He goes, but I was supposed to train him, Master Yoda. Not in the ways to become a Jedi or a Sith, just to train. But it's his choice in the matter. He knows the dangers of relying on the dark side of the Force. He knows what that would mean and happen. But he also knows the ways of the Jedi. And what is it have they always told you, Izuku? He goes, wait, hold on, everyone. Alright, so he then says they say power is absolute, but it has led to their deaths or for them to be killed by this pursuit of power. They even said, though, if I had a choice to use this dark side of the Force, they would rather me to use it for good. I can't see how I already know how I could, but it'll be quite difficult to rely on both. Which Yoda's eyes and mind is in shock because, I mean, these were like ancient Siths that were all about power and, but after basically them dying, they realized that power that they wanted killed them in the end. So yeah. And I mean, these were very, very powerful Siths. Heck, Zuko even learned how to, from the dark side of the Force, he basically learned how to keep his life, longer. But he's not immortal. He basically drained life to basically heal himself, keep him younger and alive, or to even exchange someone's life energy to give it to someone who's dying, so they will live. Basically, that sort of stuff. Messing with the laws of reality. Messing with the laws of nature. Which, Izuku does say though. But anyway, so how am I going to, get a lightsaber or a kyber crystal? Which, he looks at, Qui-Gon, he says, you briefly talked about that, Sensei. He goes, yes, I know. Well, it won't be easy since we don't have a ship. So, with your unique ability, ability, you must have learned a way how to travel through space without one. It was, yes, but I'll need time. I'll need time for it. It'll take up a lot of my energy, so I'd rather not do it on a school day or school night. He goes, oh yes, final day of middle school. Oh yeah, how is that Bakugo boy? He's like, well, he's not allowed. I mean, he seemed different. Actually, really different. I mean, I don't know what the heck is going on with him, but it's like, for some reason he's just way more quiet. Which Qui-Gon's like surprised, but yeah, in this one, there's a reason why Bakugo. Bakugo. Let's just give a brief story on him. After that day, Bakugo wasn't the same. Izuku didn't look up to him no more, nor did he try to follow him. So he never, tried to say to Bakugo, "Here, take my hand. Let me help you," and all that. That never happened. Bakugo has a sister in this one, which Izuku never really met. Reasons why. She was, I just want to say, she was just taken. They found her. She was going back to the family. So Bakugo's, it's like she's the twin. She's a twin sister, but she's basically the nicer one in the family. She's still an angry Pomeranian like Bakugo, but her quirk, landmine. Basically, she can anything. She doesn't put a landmine, like on the ground. Basically, like touches it, and then when anyone steps on that certain area, it explodes. No, she basically has an explosion that goes in the air, but then it will go over to an object, and that object will absorb the explosion that was turned to a circle, or basically a bubble, if you could say, and then start to absorb it, and then that will become the actual landmine. So, yeah. So, anyways, Bakugo though doesn't go to that school, and basically Katsumi acts like Bakugo. But the problem is, Izuku never even pays attention. So he doesn't even know that's not Bakugo. Or even feminine features at all. He basically just pays attention in class, does his normal routine, and then just leaves. So, yes. Anyways, Bakugo goes to a different school. Actually, he basically took online schooling in the beginning of the school year, of middle school. He legit just wanted nothing to do with no one. From middle school, kind of like, yeah, he was being praised for his quirk, but it just didn't feel the same anymore. So, after that, basically, continuing on, Zuku says, anyways, it's already late, I'm gonna get some sleep, Sensei. So, he says goodnight to Izuku, and, he leaves to go to bed. While Yoda says it's dangerous for him to use the dark side, Qui-Gon. I taught you that. So he was like, Master, you seem perfectly fine. And besides, I know him for many years now. I would know if he ever changes. He goes, the dark side of the Force is ever mysterious or changing and manipulate the people from the shadows. But I don't think this will happen. So, while Izuku was sleeping that night, he sees someone's life, just like Dark Revenant, but this person stays a Sith until the day he died. He basically sees he was a slave on a planet full of desert. Then he goes with a girl named Padme and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Then he sees his life with training, even Qui-Gon dying. Basically, he will not see him, but hearing about it at the funeral and stuff. Then basically him when he was a teen, Padme and him, and then just hearing the name Anakin Skywalker. Then he basically sees what happened when, from, you could say, the third movie, on how he became Darth Vader. Well, technically, if you going, from the movie perspective, So basically, the first three movies are the Luke's timeline, like Luke's movies, basically, and then there's Star Wars with how it all began. So yeah. So basically, he sees him become Darth Vader, and everything he has ever done. And, well, after the end of his life, he tells Luke to take off his mask, which he does, and then, he sees Izuku just staring at him along with Luke. Then after he's dead, he then sees Anakin, standing in front of him, but then there's also Darth Vader right next to him. Two versions of Anakin, not knowing what's going on. And then you just basically hear Darth Vader, the normal thing, just the breathing, just like like that. I guess you can hear it. I don't know. Basically, just that normal him robotic breathing sound, life machine, basically. And he just says, "So, you are the one I've been sensing within the Force." As he looked at Anakin, and it's just him saying it too. And he goes, "What the?" He was like, "I was Anakin Skywalker, but I became Darth Vader, as you can see. It seems somehow, in some way, we are connected." Which Suku was like, "What do you mean connected?" It was in some way or form, the Force is mysterious. Things happen that no one can understand through it, as and Darth Vader's saying it and movement are just exactly the same. And he goes, basically, whatever died, I felt some piece of me, I would say that when I became Darth Vader, a piece of me was gone. And it wasn't because of my wife's death, that I caused. I felt some goodness in me disappeared through the Force. Which Izuku was like, just so he can, because Qui-Gon has had him lived his life, not just constantly training. I just might go over it, that, but he has lived his life, so he has read manga. It's like, okay, so is it gonna be like, I don't know, I'm you, but reincarnation, like the good half of you, and you're just before, you basically let it all go into hatred, and then it's like that's like that one little piece of light that was still there, gone, but through the Force, it was reincarnated in someone else. Anakin and Vader, I mean, they just look at him. He was like, I read manga. Stuff like this happens in it. His manga goes, a book. A book? He goes, yes. He's like, okay. I mean, he just says like that. It's Anakin, but Darth Vader's speech is a little more different, so it's kind of hard to tell. They're both two people or separate, the same person or separate entities. So he's kind of confused. Then he goes, no. I'm saying you may carry my will. The good part of it. The part of me that wanted to protect people I care about. To be a hero, so to speak. To do, a hero, so to speak. To basically be there and protect my mother that I failed. Padme, my best friend. That seemed like a brother to me, Obi-Wan. That part of me, that goodness, that will I had. Which Izuku says, so am I gonna become like you? He goes, and Darth Vader and Anakin shake both of their heads and no. You'll be something more. Now, Wake up, Azuka Midoriya. It's time for your journey to begin. And so after that, Azuka wakes up and he realizes everything in his room was floating. And he didn't understand. Without even moving his hand down, they just start flowing down, which Qui-Gon did feel this massive spike in the force, in which he did run over to his, he did get to Izuku's room. It was near when he was awake, like, basically when the whole, so it wasn't that long, it's like 5 minutes they were doing, so he basically gets to his room. Yoda's there, was already there anyway, so he gets there as, well, Izuku just looking at them both, when they open the door, because they ask like, Qui-Gon says, Izuku, what's wrong? Yoda, thinking it's like him was corrupted, he goes like, Anakin Skywalker. Which, that sent a chill down Yoda's spine. Which Qui-Gon was shocked. He was like, what about him? He was like, I saw his memories, his life. And he just looks at Yoda, and he does badmouth the council. Like, Qui-Gon told him stuff, and he did, like, talk his freedom. Like, and Qui-Gon and him did talk about that, like, on what should have been right or wrong. And he just says, and he was like, Qui-Gon, I was like, I told you I was right about them. He was like, oh, yeah, for Anakin, yeah, that was BS. Which Qui-Gon has learned his, learned some speech pattern while being on Earth for all these years. So, basically, Yoda's like, are you just badmouthing the Jedi Order? He's like, Jedi Order? Look, if you really, really wanted to protect the universe, like, Anakin was working hard. He basically was trying to prove himself. You all kept denying him. And basically, well, what was his name again? Sidious? Yeah. Uses to his advantage. So definitely, it's your fault that the galaxies were screwed. But anyways, what's for breakfast? Which Qui-Gon just says, oh, well, I mean, you always cook, so he's like, true. So he gets up. He basically puts on his school uniform. I mean, and basically, before that, though, he says, I'll be downstairs. I'll be ready to talk. He goes, yes, man. Yes, sensei. Jeez. So, after that, he does get his clothes on, he does walk out, and he does make his breakfast, though, and Qui-Gon talks to him about how he met Anakin. Which he goes, I know, saw his life. He goes like, what did you learn from him, though? And also, okay. He goes, well, it really wasn't much that I already knew, but there was a lesson in his story. He goes, what's that? He goes, never, ever let your guard down. To never assume things right away about the truth. To lash out of anger without a reason. Even if that reason is, you do not lash out with the Force, with words only. Which Qui-Gon agrees, and Yoda's hearing this is shocking. So yeah. So after that, Izuku, says bye to Qui-Gon and Yoda and leave to school. And let's just get to when he gets there. The whole fight did happen. He did take notes, but when Izuku gets there, he sees where Bakugo sat, basically was sitting, and then he just noticed Bakugo has long hair. Bakugo looks like a female. He goes, huh? Which Katsumi looks over at Izuku, and she just starts giggling. Which he's not like, huh? And by the way, it's only him and her. Izuku always likes to get there early so that way he can at least do, like, whatever, like, sure, like meditation or planning. So she gets up and goes, "So you finally noticed me, huh?" Izuku Midoriya. He's like, who are you? Bakugo? You know, like, she goes, "Oh, I am a Bakugo, but I'm Katsumi Bakugo. I'm the twin sister to Bakugo Katsuki." Which he's like, twin? How did I? It was, well, it happened after your whole entire little friend breakup with my brother, so it doesn't matter. It's like, Mitsuki never told me. And he goes, well, you never asked, and also, I mean, she's quite surprised on how well you grew up so easily, even though your mom's not around. It was like, yeah, I mean, you got stuff to do when you want to try and become the very first quirkless hero. But she goes, really? Well, that's. And he goes, then he's thinking, okay, this is gonna be like, she's gonna say lame or stupid or quirkless, I shouldn't even be trying. She goes, interesting. But she's like, well, she just looks at her and goes like, huh? And she goes, what? Did I say something wrong? He's like, no, it's just usually people will say, oh, I should give up on my dream and I shouldn't even try to do it, become a hero. I won't even get into UA. And she goes, well, I'm not like most people. I think it'd be interesting to have a very first quirkless hero. But, I mean, probably depend on how well you do. Maybe even number 10 or 1, depending. In which Izuku smiles. He was like, huh. Well, thanks, Katsumi. But she just realized he said her first name and she goes, call me by my first name already? He was like, I'm sorry, I just know someone who says my first name a lot and I use his first name and we're like student and teacher, so it's like, I see. So, I mean, I'm fine with it actually. Because, oh, really? Just, I mean, it's fine. To me, it is. Just don't say anyone else's first name. So, yeah. So, after that, the day would go normally, and, well, Katsumi won again in UA. People say, yeah, her, becoming a great hero. As in, they basically talk about Izuku wanting to become a hero. Everyone starts laughing. People are saying, oh, he's just a useless nobody, blah, blah, blah. Izuku doesn't show nothing. He's, like, not even caring about them. But Katsumi lashes out, telling them all, shut up. He basically can choose his dream, whatever, he wants to be. It doesn't even effing matter what you guys say. Your quirks don't even, probably even become a hero anyways with your quirks. So, if he can become a hero that's quirkless, then this just proves, that he basically trained his butt off. So everyone was silent, even the teacher, and then after that, Zuko really had a lot of respect for Katsumi, so, and, well, further on, the day ends though, the whole entire sludge villain thing will not happen because Izuku just takes a different route. But in this case, he's hanging out with Katsumi because, 1, she stood up for him, and 2, it feels nice to talk to someone that's not calling him a loser or something. So, I mean, they hanged out. Nothing really special happened besides the sludge villain attack, and then Izuku just, uses force pull to pull out somebody from the sludge villain, and then All Might, comes in and saves the day. And that's really it, basically. So, I mean, after that, though, she starts talking about how she's impressed by All Might, but she would really like to know about how that girl looked like she was pulled out of the villain. And Izuku just shrugs like, we will never know. And she does nod, and she goes, well, I'm home. Anyways, Izuku, it really was fun to hang out with you. Want to do this again? He goes, sure. And she does ask, do you have a phone? He says yes. She gives him her number. And yeah. So, after that little incident, outside, Bakugo was shocked to see Izuku and her got along so well. And then, as soon as she walks in, he just starts asking her a question on how is he and such. Well, she just tells him he's doing fine, good and all. And he's really nice to hang out with. She didn't see a reason why he was bullied. And, well, Bakugo just says because he was quirkless. And she goes, yeah, I don't see the point. So, yeah. She goes up to her room, and, well, after that, we go to Izuku. Sorry. Anyways, we go to Izuku, who just gets home. He goes like, Sensei, I'm back. And when she was like, Izuku, well done. Wait, welcome back. So, do you have any school tomorrow? He was like, nope, all free for the next 10 months. He was like, right then. First off, we'll try to search for a ship. Well, a spaceship, see if we can get to the other planets. And if not, then basically they say they would just open up a portal to wherever they need to go to. Basically, could just nod. But anyways, that's where I'm gonna leave it off, everyone. I'm getting pretty tired, so I'm gonna be going. Anyways, bye.